Okay, so I thought it was time to do my like an origin story or why I'm here now. Trouble is, I think I've been putting it off because I don't really know where to start. I guess, yeah, I started doing these videos just because I was diagnosed with cancer for like a second time, and I just kind of wanted to show people that you can still have adventures in life even if you're living with it. I guess I should start maybe from the beginning. I was diagnosed, the very first time I was diagnosed, it was back in 2012, and it was literally like, it was like right before I turned 29, and yeah, I was doing a like, I don't know what they call it, the paleo diet, paleo workout, you know, where it's like no grains, no dairy, no sugar. And I'd been doing that, and I dropped a bunch of weight, and I found a lump in my breast. And I thought, well, maybe, you know how your brain goes. It didn't automatically go to cancer. I was just like, well, maybe it's just like some sort of build-up because I dropped so much weight and whatever, and didn't think anything of it. So like an idiot, of course, I didn't go get it checked for months. And then that summer, my family decided to start telling me, maybe you should go get that checked. I noticed like the nipple had started to kind of pucker, like kind of suck in, and then it started to kind of pain a little bit. So I decided, okay, yeah, it's time to go get it checked. And my doctor was on holidays actually, so I just went to the emergency room thinking, well, maybe it's an abscess, or maybe it's, you know, again, your brain doesn't go there. And they took a look at it, and they kind of felt around, but it didn't hurt to actually press on it. So like, well, that's weird, because an abscess usually, you know, is quite painful when you try to touch it. And they did an ultrasound, and hi puppy, you know it's not good, like when the doctors come back from doing your ultrasound and they're like, well, we don't really know what we're looking at. And then they mentioned the word calcifications, and I knew that wasn't good. So then they set up a biopsy. And well, when they did the ultrasound too, they discovered that there was, down puppy, my puppy's here. When they get down, I need my coffee. I really want my coffee. So I don't know if you can see, I would move my camera, but my baby dog, like, come here. See, there she is. It's my baby dog. Down. Okay, down. Okay, down. I'm trying to, yeah. So they did when they did the ultrasound, they're like, well, there's lots. Like, there's actually, I think there was like 5 lumps in total. So then they scheduled a biopsy, and they did like, they used the ultrasound, and they go in with a needle, and they take little slices of the tumor, like they numb you up first, but it was really, the numbing wasn't working. I could feel everything. It was like one of the most traumatic things ever, because they took like 7 little slices. They took from like the main lump, and then they took from a lump in the side, and it was just, the ultrasound tech was like holding my hand because he felt so bad that I was feeling everything. And yeah, it was, I think it was maybe not even a week that my doctor phoned me, and I went in for my results, and of course it was malignant, cancerous. And I just sat there for a minute It's just kind of, I let myself maybe just 30 seconds of like tearing up, and then went, okay, what's next? And she said, well, we could do another biopsy because one came back sort of inconclusive and whatever. And I was like, no. I was like, let's just get going. Sign me up. Do the ref. She's like, or we could just do a reference letter to Allen Blair Cancer Clinic. I was like, let's just start it off. Let's just do it. And yeah, I think it was like, oh, I have something on my screen. Hang on. Sidetracked. So yeah, then they did I think it was like the next week already, I was going in and they sent me for their own tests. They did a MRI of my chest, like my both breasts. Like you have to lay down and it's the loudest machine in the world. And it like, it can feel like really claustrophobic. So I had to like associate every noise it made to like some vehicle or something that I had heard before. That actually kind of helped me kind of get through it, because I like every noise that it made. I was like, wait, that sounds like this, or that sounds like this, and it kind of helped. Yeah, and like we were sitting in there going, like in the waiting room to go for the MRI, and the staff, it was at the Breast Assessment Center in the Pasqua Hospital in Regina. And my mom said she heard the receptionist saying, yeah, we have a young one coming in, and it took her a second to realize that they were talking about me. So yeah, then the doctor said that to come in and look at my MRI results or whatever, and yeah, oh sorry, I did my MRI, and then the Breast Assessment Center handled the results, so that's where I went for the results. And he just, and I actually got to see it on the screen, and there's like, yeah, 5 little lumps. And like that day already, it was just, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe God set it up this way. Just literally a couple months before that, this particular radiologist and Dr. Salim at the Allen Blair Cancer Clinic had made a pact that if they seen any strange cases or any like rare cases like mine, being because I was so young and it was so aggressive and I didn't have any history in my family. Well, not like immediate family. Like I had an aunt that had breast cancer and a couple other aunts like on my dad's side. But I guess they look for like your mom, your sister, or your like family on your mom's side, like more immediate. I don't know why. But just like with my age and the amount of lumps and the aggression, it's mine got fast-tracked because, yeah, so he immediately sent my results to the clinic. And like, it literally was that same day, like I was already at the clinic, and I was already getting a tour and met my doctor, and he signed me up for like CT scans and bone scans and everything to make sure nothing had spread. And from my very first biopsy to my very first treatment was only 3 weeks, so they are like the bomb diggity. And yeah, they set me up. It hadn't spread anywhere. It was just stage 3, very aggressive, but only in my breast. And so I went for 8 rounds of chemo. And then I had what they call a radical mastectomy. So that's where they take all of your breast tissue, all of your fatty tissue, everything like right down to your chest wall. Like from here all the way to here. And then I had like drains and stuff, and that took about like, they waited maybe 6 weeks for that to heal, or a month maybe. And then I started radiation, so I went like 5 days a week for 5 weeks. So like I was like 25 treatments of radiation. And then that was it. Then it was a waiting game. And I went for my follow-up CT. So I think all told it was like about a year that all took. A year, and I went for my follow-up CT, and I was cancer free. I was free and clear and good, and I was so happy. And yeah, that was like my first one. So of course I thought, you know, that was it. And they put me on these hormone suppressing like pills that are supposed to sort of prevent cell growth or whatever. They're supposed to stop it from coming back, but which for 5 years I was fine, and now I'm not, which brings me to now. Yeah, now I'm on round 2, so I think I'm just gonna start, I'm gonna do like a part 2 video to this, so that because it's gonna cut me off mid-story if I start it now, because I'm looking at my timer, and yeah. But yeah, I did the whole gamut, and my mom was there for every treatment. Of course, we didn't have a pandemic like we do now. And yeah, and my whole life stopped, but it kind of changed too. Like before I got sick the first time, I really didn't have much direction, and you know, I was kind of partying every weekend, and I was like kind of a dead-end job that wasn't really a good place to be. And after I was sick, the recovery time takes forever. Like out of that 5 years, like my treatment stopped in 2000. I got the all clear. I was diagnosed in 2012, got the all clear the following year, 2013. And then just the recovery time, I was going for physio because when they did my mastectomy, they removed lymph nodes from under my arm, and I developed lymphedema, and that's permanent, so I have it forever now. So sometimes my arm will say, well, and I'll have to wear a sleeve and whatever, but it's basically stable, like it hasn't gone out of control. So I was going for physio and stuff too, because this, and actually to this day, if I don't keep stretching, like this shoulder, this arm, like in here, if I don't keep everything stretched out and limber, like it will tighten up and it will go all the way into here. And like my arm will be very like tight. So to this day I have to keep it stretched. I was going to physio for quite a while to do that. And then, yeah, finally 2014, like that, the fall, like that got the all clear 2013 in September. So then finally in the spring of the following year, I got to kind of go back home to my house because I was staying at my mom's. So I got to go back home to my house and just start figuring things out and trying to get everything back in order. I had to go on welfare because I couldn't work right away. Nobody wanted to hire me because I was just coming off being sick for a couple of years, and they're like, well, you could volunteer. I was like, I need money. So it was a struggle. So I ended up taking a course in office administration, and that was like another year. So I actually didn't end up going back to work until like 2015. It was like the summer 2015. And I got hired at Sask Abilities in Yorkton, and it's been the best thing that ever happened to me. I love the girls I work with. They're fantastic. And they're so supportive, and they still check in with me. And that'll bring me to part 2.